Victor Gyokeres is above Victor Osimhen in terms of the pecking order at Arsenal. The price, Arsenal don't agree with the price. They don't want to pay 100 million for Victor Gyokeres, and they think the price will come down. But Gyokeres is in a higher pecking order when it comes to Arsenal than Osimhen, because Osimhen has discipline issues, Osimhen has injury issues, and Osimhen has character and mentality issues that Mikel Arteta would rather not deal with. That's why I think Gyokeres is a player that Arsenal would rather go for. So Fabrizio Romano confirms that Arsenal are therefore trying to sign Gyokeres, but the price has to first come down. And he says that Sporting at the moment still want that release clause to be triggered, which is a package of 100 million euros. This is an expensive deal for Arsenal at the moment, and that's why they have shown interest in recent months, but are not progressing at the moment. That's why the deal is not advancing. Fabrizio also says that we know that sometime in the market the price can change. In June you have a price, and then in July and in August it can change. For both Gyokeres and Osimhen, the situation is quite interesting. Let's see what Arsenal will decide to do. Okay. Confirmed, first and foremost. They are the two we are looking at. They are the two we are looking at. When I said, when I talked about Osimhen and Gyokeres yesterday, I told you that I don't think that we are looking at other strikers. God, thank you, God, for Arsenal not getting Benjamin Sesko. Because Benjamin Sesko yesterday had a glorious opportunity to put Slovenia through to the quarterfinals of the Euros. A 1v1, no defender is chasing him. He didn't have a defender chasing him. It was only him and the goalkeeper, and he produced one of the worst finishes I've ever seen in world football. Actually, I'm going to say this. Benjamin Sesko has been the worst striker at the Euros. Honestly. Okay, I mean, we've had Rasmus Hojlund, who has been pretty much atrocious. But no, Benjamin Sesko has been the worst striker at the Euros. He's been the worst striker at the Euros. So I'm really glad and I'm really happy that he rejected Arsenal and decided to stay at RB Leipzig. Good God, that would have been a disaster. That would have been a disaster of a signing. And I told you right from the start. Many people said, Cossy, you don't know what you're talking about. He's the good player. What? I didn't see any reason, footballing wise, apart from the profile of the player, he can wait on the bench, all that kind of crap. I didn't see any footballing reason why Arsenal were trying to sign Benjamin Sesko. I didn't see, I don't see him as the player that is ready to deliver here and now, right here and now. And in that Slovenia game, everyone, in the Slovenian stands is waiting for their striker, their number 9, to hit the back of the net, and he produces one of the worst finishes. But when you tell him to pass the ball, he doesn't want. He wants to be striking the ball with a lot of power outside the penalty area, hitting balls high up, high in the air. Ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, Osimhen and Gyokeres, those are the two Arsenal are trying to get. And the situation is still very, very interesting and complicated according to Romano. But Arsenal will decide what to do, especially when it comes to the price. Now, the striker situation is one that will not be resolved at Arsenal quickly. I don't think Arsenal are going to wake up tomorrow or the 3rd or the 4th of July and we have agreed a deal to sign Victor Gyokeres, or we have signed Osimhen. I don't think it's going to happen that quickly. And the reason as to why it's not going to develop that quickly, think about it in this way. Arsenal at the moment have far better pressing priorities than signing a striker. Kai Havertz is going to be our number 9 for the moment. I hope he doesn't be our number 9, because I've seen him for Germany as well, getting good chances. If you want to see how good a player is, there are two things you do. One, you place him in a team that is not as good, as very good. Secondly, you place him in a team that is actually very good. So for Kai Havertz in Germany, he's playing with seamless talent, and he's also an absolute joke of a talent, by the way. But in terms of finishing, German have exposed Kai Havertz. Because for German, Cruz is creating, Gundogan is creating, Musiala is creating, Florian Vaz is creating, Jonathan Tah is creating. You have this guy in midfield. What's his name? Alongside Cruz. Just forgotten his name. One of the best players at the Euros, really. How can I forget him? All those players are creating chances. And Niklas Fulkrug, who has not been starting games for German, right? Fulkrug is not starting games for German, has the same number of goals as Kai Havertz, and Kai Havertz has scored 2 penalties at the Euros, and he has missed glorious sitters. When I say Arsenal need a number 9, that's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. But of course, I think Mikel Arteta is still going to use him as a 9. I think he still sees him as the player that he wants to develop into striker. I don't see Arsenal really rush. I wouldn't see Arsenal as a club that are really going to rush to go and get a new number 9. So the number 9 situation is going to develop slowly but surely. Arsenal know that eventually these clubs want to find a buyer. Osimhen's position, he's leaving Napoli 100%. That's confirmed. He's leaving Napoli. Wherever he goes, I'm not saying he's 100% joining Arsenal, but he 100% wants to join Arsenal, 100% wants the Premier League, and 100% he's leaving. Make of that what you wish. With Gyokeres, Sporting might feel they could keep him for 1 more year and attract more interest next summer. Probably they might feel that next summer, maybe a Liverpool will have made their decision on Darwin Núñez. Maybe Man United will have discovered that Rasmus Hojlund is one of the worst Premier League strikers we have at the moment. He's not that bad, really. Maybe clubs will be willing to spend more money on Gyokeres next summer. But Arsenal are not under any pressure. Arsenal are not under any influence to go and agree a deal for a striker. Actually, this is a market where I see Arsenal do all the deals: goalkeeper, left back, midfielder, winger, and towards the end of the window, 30th of August or 31st. Do we have 31st of August? 30th. That's when Arsenal agree a deal for a striker. It's got to calm down a little bit. Arsenal have made it very clear they're not going to overpay. They're not going to pay these ridiculous prices that these clubs are quoting. 100 million for Gyokeres, Arsenal are not going to pay that. 100 million and 120 million euros for Osimhen, Arsenal made it clear they're not going to pay that, right? So at the moment, your boys, Osimhen, and your boys, Gyokeres, are not signing for Arsenal until those prices come down. Now, what is interesting from Fabrizio is this. He says that is why the deal is not advancing. That is why the deal is not advancing. So Arsenal have collected the information on Gyokeres' deal. We know that. Arsenal have been interested in Gyokeres for a long time, and they have scouted him since January. We know that. So the question was, why haven't we advanced yet? And Fabrizio says, it's because of the price. It's because Sporting are unwilling to change their stance on the player's price. That's why the deal is not advancing. Now, I'll explain to you why Sporting are not willing to drop their price right now. So if you're Sporting Lisbon, there is no reason and there is no point in you dropping your price right now. Before the Euros, many clubs are still not going to do many signings before the end of the Euros. Why? Because you think about players like Nico Williams. You think about talents that we have seen. Maybe Adagula could go on loan. All these players are going to be on a move somewhere, somehow. So clubs are going to wait until the end of the Euros, until it is the calm after the storm, for them to go in and say, now we have identified Gyokeres as the best option. At the moment, the Euros is still overshadowing a lot of things. It's only Arsenal and maybe Man United and a couple of other, few clubs like Man City that want to get their deals done quickly and prepare for the new season that are going to start doing much of their business before the end of the Euros. But before that, most of the clubs are actually going to wait until after the Euros. So let's talk about that 100 million, shall we? 120 million euros on Osimhen? No, please. No, please. Like, there is no way I would be willing to splash 120 million euros of hard-earned money of players sweating, in the UEFA Champions League on Victor Osimhen. No, please. Now, he's a good striker. I rate him. I like him. No, please. 120 million euros on Osimhen? No chance. 100 million euros on Victor Gyokeres. We have a problem on the market. We have a problem in the market. And that problem is that clubs have to pay the prices that have been set in the past for players that they're signing in the future, or they're signing in the present and in the future. For example, when you think about the Darwin Núñez deal, it cost Liverpool around 82 million pounds, somewhere in that region. And all Portuguese clubs are now singing the same song. He's better than Darwin Núñez, and therefore we want top money for him. We want top dollar for him. We want him to go for the same amount as Darwin Núñez or even more. So you find yourself that you're not paying 100 million because the club value their player at 100 million. You're paying 100 million because the club are 100% looking at their asset as the next Darwin Núñez, the next Di Maria, the next Kylian Mbappe, the next Declan Rice. I'm telling you, the next world-class midfielder that Arsenal sign, he's going to be more expensive than Declan Rice. Mark my words. The next world-class midfielder that Arsenal try to sign, he will be more expensive than Declan Rice. If we went in for a player like Bruno Guimaraes right now, he will be more expensive than Declan Rice because Newcastle think if you paid 105 million for Declan Rice, why don't you give us 105 million, 0.5 for Bruno Guimaraes? If you went to sign a player like Pedri right now, Barcelona are going to be quoting like 110 million. If you went to sign a player like who else? Who else is world class? I think it's Pedri and Bruno J, right? So these prices do not actually reflect how much Sporting and Napoli value their players. They are reflecting what the market standard is. And I don't think Arsenal should be paying 100 million for Victor Gyokeres because it is market standard. We should be paying 100 million for Gyokeres because we believe he is worth 100 million. The way we did it with Declan Rice, we believed he was worth 105 million pounds, and therefore we paid it and eventually got the deal done. The same thing we did with Ben White, the same thing we did with David Raya, the same thing we did with Martin Odegaard. If a player is worth that amount, pay it up. I don't have a problem with Arsenal paying 100 million for Messi. I don't have a problem with Arsenal paying 200 million for Cristiano Ronaldo. But I have a problem with Arsenal paying 100 million for Victor Gyokeres. It is too much. It is overpriced. It is overrated. The market needs to be fixed, guys. It needs to be fixed. So that price for me, it's a no-brainer. It's a no. It's a no-brainer. It's a no. It's a no. It's a no. I wouldn't pay, and I wouldn't be willing to part with 100 million for him, for Victor Gyokeres. The maximum amount of money Arsenal should pay for Victor Gyokeres should be 80 million pounds. 80 million euros, actually. 80 million euros. Right? That's around, 70 million pounds. Around there. I think, to be honest, that's a fair price. Right? That's a very, very, very fair price. Other than that, I think we're being cheated. Other than that, I think we are overpaying for Gyokeres. With Osimhen, I don't even know how to value him, but I would say 80 million pounds. With Gyokeres, 80 million euros. That is what these players are really truly worth. And if you're going to throw in some more money because of the market, if you're going to throw in some more money because because the market standard is that, then 85 million euros or 90 million euros for Gyokeres, which will be around 80 million, which will be around 75 million pounds. I don't see why clubs are going for 100 million euros for Gyokeres because he had two good seasons. Not really. And I think he's a top talent, and I think he's a very good striker, and I think he's got so many interesting attributes about his game. But I mean, we shouldn't overrate them. We shouldn't overrate them. And I think at the moment, some of these players, however much they are good, however much they are really, really interesting talents, I think they are overrated and they are overpriced. Moses, good morning. Kai is lazy. Plus Osimhen. Kai Havertz is too lazy. And he says, please, Osimhen is to treat any defender as compared to Gio and Kai. Kai is too lazy. I don't think Kai Havertz is too lazy. Now, I'm going to say this. I think many people don't understand Kai Havertz's job and role. If you want to understand his role, I want you to go to and watch that interview that Ange Postecoglou has done. Not an interview, really. He was doing a kind of a match reaction, during this Euro period, and was talking about Kai Havertz. And he says a very interesting part. He says Kai Havertz is very hard to evaluate because you cannot easily pigeonhole him to one position. I don't think he's lazy. Actually, it's not that I don't think. Kai Havertz is not lazy. Kai Havertz is one of the best pressers in world football. Like in terms of winning the ball back, chasing, right? I think he's just an intelligent player who prefers to save his energy rather than blast blast in terms of running and doing all that kind of crazy stuff. I don't think he's a lazy player. I think you're misjudging him. You're really misjudging him. So if you want him to run the way Odegaard runs, basically doesn't do that. And not every player runs like Odegaard does. Look at Jorginho. Jorginho, is he lazy? No. But does Jorginho run the way Partey does? No, he doesn't. And they play in the same role. So Kai is not lazy. We've just got to understand his game. And I think many of us don't. Shadrach says, hey, man, Osimhen is not the player. We should go for Gyokeres. Gyokeres is the one. Okay. Again, there is a very, very small line between those two. Emma says, for me, what I need is who can back up Saka. Okay. I mean, I think that's something that we'll see developing over the coming weeks. Isaac says, I saw we signed an academy player, watched him, and I think he's actually good. If you're talking about Lucas Nigard, he's actually good. He did have his first training pictures already on the Arsenal website. You can go and watch these pictures and probably a few videos as well. He's good. He's very, very good. And of course, Arsenal do good scouting these days. We do very good scouting. As Isaac says, it seems like an eternity. I miss Arteta ball. I really miss club football, but I'm not going to lie. The Euros have taken very good care of me. I'm not hungry for football. I'm just hungry for club football. But in terms of hungry for football, not really. The Euros have been very, very entertaining, top level football. Emma says, I don't think Arsenal is going to sign in number 9. Could still happen. Mother says Osimhen is what Arsenal need to commit City fully. Please go and get him quickly. Roland says, hi Cossy, to be honest, I'm a Nigerian, but I won't buy the idea of Arsenal signing to Arsenal. Then Victor Gyokeres, for me, Victor Gyokeres is the answer. Many Nigerians are not sold onto the idea of Osimhen signing for Arsenal. I'm not sure why. But I don't know. I mean, why are Nigerians not interested in Osimhen coming close to Arsenal? Asema says, okay, thank you. That's a good one. And then Casey says, thanks, Cossy. We need at least 2 players should be in for medicals in our team. Deals take some time, but eventually they progress and you get them done. Moses says you're doing a great job. Thank you so much, Moses. Morgan says great work, bro. Thanks for your services. Osimhen, I see him as a missing article in our forward line. Now, I want to say this. When Arsenal decided to sign a forward line player, it is said that there was a cross cutting, how should I call it? There was a cross-cutting consensus or an agreement around Arsenal that we missed something last season, especially in the big games. So there was a feeling around the Arsenal dressing room, coaches and backroom staff, that Arsenal needed someone with a bit of a better killer instinct, the way Bayern have Ken, the way Barcelona have Lewandowski, the way Madrid have now taken Kylian Mbappe. And that actually brings me to this. It is not necessarily that Arsenal have to sign your traditional number 9 for them to have a killer instinct. Kylian Mbappe has the best killer instinct I've seen over a player under 25. And Kylian Mbappe is not your traditional Olivier Giroud number 9 or Niklas Füllkrug. So Arsenal could as well decide to go and sign a player who is not necessarily a traditional 9, but has that killer instinct, and he can change a game, and he can turn a game on its head, right? So I want us to be very clear. Arsenal want to sign a forward. It is not just that they want to sign a traditional number 9. How far with Osimhen? That's Asema. Mwene says, for me, Victor Gyokeres, Kimmich, Nico Williams, and Onana would be the good deals. I'm not sure on Onana. I'm not really sure on Onana. Good morning to you, Asema. Moses says, did we need defense? Yes, but we should first go for Osimhen, Nico Williams, Kimmich, and then maybe Ricardo Calafiore. If you've seen Mikel Arteta and you've followed him for a while, you know how he works as a manager. He wants to get in defenders first. He wants to strengthen defense, then he strengthens the midfield, then he strengthens the attack. That's Mikel Arteta for you. Nasil says Raya. Yeah, Raya is a done deal. Osimhen, okay, Eze, and then Calafiore in that order. Moses says, for me, we need Nico Williams, Osimhen, and Kimmich. I mean, one of the things we are agreeing on here is that Arsenal don't need very, very many signings, like 10 signings, 15 signings. We don't need that. We don't need like even 5. I think if we're going to talk about a new goalkeeper, we're going to talk about the new goalkeeper that Arsenal are linked with. That is Garcia. But if Arsenal keep Ramsdale, then Joan Garcia might not even be necessary, right? If Arsenal can keep Ramsdale, it means that we just sign a left back, a midfielder, and maybe one forward player or 2. So we might need around 3, maximum 4 signings this summer. And next summer, we might even need 1 signing, right? We might even need 1 signing next summer. So bit of good news. Hit the like button, people. Thank you so much for watching. And thank you so much for engaging in the comment box below as well. Okay, Gennaro says we need Johan Bakayoko. I wouldn't take Johan Bakayoko before Williams. Williams comes first. Robert says, hi Cossy, I think Gyokeres is better for the Arsenal project than Osimhen because of his mentality and behavior reasons. That's true. That is true. Osimhen has not really given himself a very good umbrella, when it comes to discipline-wise. I don't think he has. And then Lonkare says, I wish we could have a striker of 1 chance, 1 goal, like RVP. Was RVP a 1 chance, 1 goal striker? He wasn't. He wasn't. You're lying. Robin van Persie was not a 1 chance, 1 goal striker. Robin van Persie had his best season. His best season was his last season, right? And in that season, I could say he was a 3 chance, 1 goal striker. He wasn't a 1 chance, 1 goal striker. The 1 chance, 1 goal strikers we have seen are Robert Lewandowski. Robin van Persie has never come close to Lewandowski in terms of scoring goals. He's never, ever come close to him. Never. I don't think he will ever come close to him in terms of being that finisher, that number 9. Never, ever. So I think the one chance, one goal guy we had at Arsenal was Thierry Henry. Yeah, I think it was Thierry Henry. In terms of conversion, it was Thierry Henry. It's not Robin van Persie. I don't think Robin van Persie was a one chance, one goal guy. No. Prince says, as long as we want to get Osimhen at 120 million, let's consider FFP. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You can't go for Osimhen at 120 million. You can't. Gogo says, hello, Cossy. I believe that Osimhen will not be the solution to the striker situation for a couple of reasons. Gyokeres will be more than a team player, but then what do we do with Kai Havertz? Okay, that's interesting. That's very interesting. But I think with Kai Havertz, the beauty with him is you can play him as a Raumdeuter. You can play him like Thomas Muller, 2 up top, but him being the support striker. But then you can also drop him in midfield, like we have seen a couple of times when Niklas Füllkrug comes on for Germany, and then he drops into midfield.